The Hidden Echelon. Part 1. Sands and Secrets. Chapter 1. The Artifact in the Depths of Surrey Hills. Setting: Surrey Hills, Sydney. The Antique Shop. The Meridian. Alex Sterling, 28, had two problems: a chronic lack of customers and an uncontrollable urge to buy everything that looked historically significant. Today, however, he acquired a third problem: a box. His antique shop, the Meridian, was a picturesque chaos. Persian rugs wrestled for space with Australian Aboriginal masks, and Victorian porcelain figurines eyed the modern clocks with envy. Just now, Alex was crouched amidst this clutter, trying to open a heavy, black box that he had bought yesterday at an auction from an old university professor's collection. "The professor said it was empty," Alex muttered, carefully prying the lid with a thin knife. Great advertising for a professor. Inside, there were no jewels, only a thin layer of sand, and beneath that, a false bottom. Applying a little force, he extracted the hidden panel. Inside, wrapped in time-worn cloth, lay a plate. It was the size of a large phone card, made of what Alex initially took for volcanic glass. The material was dark gray, matte, cold to the touch, yet perfectly smooth. Crucially, beneath the surface, like a microchip, glowed an intricate script, something between ancient writings and a quantum computer schematic. The moment Alex picked up the plate, a quiet, piercing chime sounded in his head. His vision briefly sharpened to an extreme focus, and then the world snapped back to normal, but with a frightening clarity. It was as if he had gained access to an invisible, extra frequency. Suddenly, his old smartphone, lying on the counter, flashed and showed a strange notification. It was a news headline, dated tomorrow morning. AEC scandal. Vice President Murray resigns due to financial irregularities. Alex frowned. Murray? But I read yesterday that he was doing great. And why did that headline appear on my ancient phone? He set the plate down. The headline disappeared, and the phone returned to its usual notifications. Okay, so it's not glass. It's like a Wi-Fi router for the universe, Alex concluded, slipping the artifact into his pocket and feeling his adrenaline spike. He was unaware that his small shop was already being tracked. Chapter 2. A Clash at the Meridian. The doorbell chimed, and Sophie Lang appeared on the threshold. Sophie, 26, was a shark in the world of Sydney journalism. Unlike Alex, she preferred facts to dust. Her suit was immaculate, and she clutched a folder of printouts. She was looking for traces of missing documents related to the professor's recent death. "Hello, I'm looking for Mr. Sterling?" she asked. "You found him. Unless you plan to buy this tapestry," Alex replied, pointing to a yellowed cloth that he suspected might be Maori. "I'm looking for something that may have been in Professor Linderman's collection." "A black box." Sophie wasted no time on pleasantries. "I'm a journalist investigating a major energy scandal at the Australian Energy Corporation, AEC, and I have reason to believe there was incriminating evidence in his belongings." "The box?" "Sold. This morning. Very expensive." Alex automatically lied, immediately recalling the headline about Vice President Murray. "You're lying," Sophie stated, moving closer. "I saw the inventory. You only have one black box in the shop, and the professor had it last week. If you're trying to hide evidence..." "I'm trying to hide my private life from intrusive reporters," Alex cut her off. "Try reading a newspaper instead of scrutinizing my hands." At that tense moment, the door opened again. Caleb Flynn, 32, entered. He was dressed like a bored but expensive lawyer, but his eyes betrayed something else: a cold, calculating intelligence. Caleb worked for the shadowy private foundation, Aegis, which specialized in ensuring stability. Essentially, They were a cleanup crew who prevented dangerous technology from falling into the public domain. "Excuse me. I'm looking for a very specific historical document related to the early settlements." Caleb paused, positioned so his eyes could scan the entire shop. He wasn't looking for a document. He was looking for the artifact that his sensor was confidently locating near Alex's pocket. "We're just discussing who looks more like a liar. The seller who doesn't want to show his treasures, or the journalist who sticks her nose where it doesn't belong." Sophie interjected, without turning around, but keenly watching Caleb in the window's reflection. Caleb offered a slight, knowing smile. "Maybe both? But all I want is an artifact that should be lost, Mr. Sterling." Chapter 3: Blackmail and the Leak. The tension was rising. Alex realized his shop was mined by two very dangerous people. "Mr. Flynn, if this is an artifact related to early settlements, it belongs in a museum, not with a consulting firm." Sophie interjected, trying to protect Alex, even though she still didn't trust him. Caleb pulled out his smartphone and showed Sophie a message. "Your entire AEC investigation, Ms. Lang, is based on files that will disappear in an hour. If you don't stop bothering Mr. Sterling and leave, your career is over." Sophie paled but didn't back down. "Blackmail? Classic. Your Aegis is working for AEC to cover their tracks." At that moment, Alex realized how he could use the plate. He pressed it against the metal safe beneath the counter. The safe screen, which usually displayed the time, suddenly showed a full AEC report that Sophie had been trying to find, dated for the following month. The scandal and intrigue information was incredible. Bribes involving government ministers, money laundering via offshore accounts. "You can't erase this if it's public," Alex whispered, addressing Sophie. He quickly took a photo of the safe screen with his phone and sent the image to her. "Caleb, I don't know what you're looking for, but this thing is very interesting." Alex demonstratively tucked the plate back into his pocket. Caleb understood. This amateur had just accessed information and shown it to a journalistic shark. "You're playing with fire, Sterling," Caleb growled, taking a step forward. "And I love a thrill." Alex grabbed a brass candlestick from the counter. "All right, I'll distract him. You run," Sophie said, stopping him from striking. She grabbed a pot containing a cactus, the only living plant in the shop, and forcefully hurled it at Caleb's feet. "Why the cactus?" Alex yelled. "It was the only way to guarantee he'd stop. I have a backup plan in the car," Sophie shouted, bolting out the back door. Alex, without thinking, followed her before Caleb could recover from the unexpected prickly attack. Chapter 4: The Escape, the Truth, and Mutual Accusations. They sped through the streets of Sydney in Sophie's old Holden. Alex, awkwardly holding the artifact and fastening his seatbelt, kept looking back. "You hit him with a cactus? Seriously?" Alex laughed, but it was a nervous, strained laugh. "Better a cactus than my folder of printouts. By the way, you just sent me a screenshot. What was that?" Sophie demanded, turning on to the Eastern distributor. Alex showed her the plate. "When I hold it near electronics, it shows what's going to happen, or, even worse, what's really happening behind the scenes. It showed me that your AEC scandal is child's play compared to what they're planning." Sophie briefly forgot about driving. "Are you saying this piece of rock is some kind of mind-reading tool or a key to hacking the world's entire information network?" "I'm saying that I'm an antiquarian, not an expert in extraterrestrial technology." "But yes, it looks like it," Alex swallowed. "We need to disappear. I have an old hunting lodge in Queensland, the middle of nowhere. No mobile reception, no internet. Fantastic. So, I'm a journalist who needs to use an information artifact to expose a global conspiracy, but I have to go somewhere with no connection. Are you sure you're not working for Caleb Flynn?" Sophie was furious. And are you sure you're not trying to distract me so you can steal this thing and get your Pulitzer? Alex countered. I don't steal things. I acquire them through investigation. Right. And hurl cacti at corporate spies. Alex couldn't resist the sarcasm. They drove in silence, the atmosphere so thick you could cut it with a knife. This was not love. It was hostility, seasoned with the full realization that their lives now depended on each other. Chapter 5. Deep into the territory. They reached the airport and, using cash bought from the nearest ATM and slightly unnerving the teller, purchased domestic tickets to a small town on the outskirts of Queensland. Sophie was vehemently against it, but a plane was faster, and their pursuer could be on their heels. While waiting for their flight, they sat in a corner, trying to study the artifact. You must hold it a certain way, Sophie muttered. I've already tried petting it, kissing it, and shouting at it. It doesn't work. Alex gave her an annoyed look. Maybe it reacts to a specific frequency? He pressed the plate against his phone again. The screen displayed an old newspaper article about Professor Linderman, but it was cleverly disguised as a travel agency ad. Sophie quickly took a photo. He studied ancient Aboriginal astronomical charts, and he was obsessed with the concept of the hidden path. Maybe that's the key. Their focus was interrupted. Across the lounge, Caleb Flynn appeared. He was in different clothes, but his unmistakable presence left no room for doubt. He wasn't looking at them, but he was clearly scanning the room. Damn it, Sophie swore. He knew where we were headed. He didn't know. He found out. Alex corrected her. He's using our own methods. We have to beat him. We have 10 minutes until boarding. Instead of rushing to their gate, Sophie suddenly stood up and walked straight toward Caleb, pulling a notepad from her bag. What are you doing? Alex hissed. I'm going to distract him. I'm going to enrage him. You run to the gate. If something happens, I'll call you from a burner number. Her eyes blazed with fighting spirit. We don't have shared numbers. We'll figure it out, she shouted back, then loudly addressed Caleb. Mr. Flynn, how about a quick interview about your involvement in the AEC scandal? We can start with your cactus assault. Caleb, momentarily stunned by her audacity, paused, his face contorted with fury. That moment was enough. Alex, clutching the artifact in his pocket, rushed towards the gate leading to the tarmac. He looked back. Sophie was standing in the middle of the lounge, bravely arguing with Caleb. Alex knew he couldn't leave her. But he also knew, if he didn't solve the mystery of this plate, they would both be found and neutralized. He had to fly. He crossed the threshold, feeling like the ultimate betrayer.